Hello, guys. This is a review of the film 10 Things I Hate About You, starring Julia Stiles and Heath Ledger. You would imagine that someone like me, who enjoys movies like She's a Man, American Pie, Fired Up, The Comebacks, like movies like that I would have already watched this so many years ago, but I hadn't. I barely watched this, I think, last week. I purchased it at Target, and obviously, well, first let's talk about the plot like usual, and then I'll get into my opinions about the film. So this film, and I had to look at the names because I didn't memorize them. This film starts with Cameron, this new kid played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He's a new kid in school, and he falls in love for Bianca, one of the popular, very attractive girls. But he's trying to get a date with her, obviously, and like even helps her with French, even though he doesn't even know French. um but there's a problem. Bianca's dad has this rule that if Kat, her older sister, doesn't date, then Bianca doesn't date. If she doesn't go out, then Bianca doesn't go out. So they come up with a plan for this very rough guy named Patrick, played by Heath Ledger, to seduce Kat and to make her fall in love with him so that she'd accept to go on dates with him and Bianca could go on dates with um, Cameron. But at the same time, there's this very attractive young man. He's a model and he's one of the popular kids in school. And Bianca likes him because he's rich and he has all the attractiveness to him in every sense of the word. And you know how superficial um, teenagers could be. I think, the main story here and the one that we're most concerned with is Kat and Patrick's, love, or not love because they weren't really in love in the beginning. So their relationship is what's most important, at least to me. At first, Kat is very reluctant to go out with Patrick because he's like she's what is going on? Why are you coming to me talking about like feminism and this and that when clearly you're just a knucklehead? So that's where all the fun and the funny scenes come from, or the majority of them, and also Cameron's desperation to get with Bianca. In the very end, Bianca manages, because Kat does end up falling in love with Patrick. Bianca goes out and talks to the model guy, but realizes that he's so much into himself and is never really gonna pay attention to her. And then she also finds out that Kat went out with that guy and they actually did it before, and they ended their relationship on very bad terms. He was a butthole. So even knowing that, she was still going out with him, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But eventually she, gets a grip on reality and is like, you know what, I'm just gonna go for Cameron. He's a nice guy. He's the one that pays attention to me. He's the one that I really love. And Kat does find out about Patrick's plan, and because he was basically hired, he was doing it for money. He was trying to make Kat go out with him for money and all this stuff, which now in retrospect, it was pretty messed up of the sister, because she was in on all of it. True, she openly begged her sister, please do it, but when she did beg directly, her sister actually did go out just for the sake of her sister, for her to have fun. So looking back, like I said, it's so messed up that she would do that to her sister. Anyway, that's basically the whole plot. Like I said, Kat finds out, but then she forgives Patrick, and Patrick and Kat live happily ever after. It's a very typical, teen drama comedy type of movie. When was this released? I would say early 2000s, but it doesn't have a year. It doesn't matter. That's basically what happens. And like I was saying, I think Bianca's character really deserved a little more of a rough patch, because Is that how you say it? I don't know. She, I think, should have went through a little more of a hardship in order for her to be happily ever after, because what she did was so messed up, especially after hearing what happened with her sister and the model guy. Like how you as a woman, especially because I get like, we live in male dominated world basically. So I do see how it's easy for us as guys to take advantage of our gender and our privileges, but for a woman to look down upon another woman and to put her in a situation of vulnerability and humiliation, because Kat could have, not could have, she was humiliated. And all of this happened just so Bianca could go out and do stupid things. And I think at that age, sure, you are so superficial, like I said earlier. You're kind of an airhead. You have hormones wanting to do this, wanting to do that. Your brain doesn't really know which direction to go. But you should have common sense or enough of a good, kind heart to not want to put your sister in a situation where she could get hurt. Just so it's, I don't know, she was just so persistent. But I'm just being very picky because the movie was very fun in my opinion. I think, like I said, it could have been better in that regard. Maybe like shine the light a little bit more on Bianca and how messed up she was, so that she could get a bit of, like, I don't know, a pie thrown at her face at lunch, so that she became unpopular, and then she knew how it felt, or something like along those lines. Like, obviously not very drastic. I would have also loved to see more of Kat and Patrick living their romance, because we don't get to see that very much. We do see them kind of like the back and forth, like um butting heads. We see that for the majority of the film, but I would have preferred for around midway for Kat to actually start liking him and showing interest and being receptive to Patrick's flirting and whatnot, and then Patrick to have that realization, like, hey, because I feel like it happened way towards the end, so we didn't really get to enjoy all of that. I don't know, I like romantic movies, so I would have wanted more of that, because we got a lot more of the clashing, like I said, clashing of the heads instead of the actual loving embrace that they had in the end. But for a movie of this subgenre, I would rate it 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 in this category, and it's not a low rating. If, like, it's a very high rating, but I still, and I I keep like interrupting my own sentences. I really liked it. Like, I watched it and I knew I was gonna like it. A sister of mine had actually told me, "Yeah, I watched it and it's a lot like She's the Man," and I was like, "Yeah, I've been wanting to watch it for a very long time. I know it's probably gonna be very good," and I was not disappointed. There were some points that, like, kind of irked me, like those, but that's me being picky, and that's why I rated like 2 grades below, or 2 points or two numbers below a perfect movie for me. But regardless of that, it's still very solid and very entertaining in its category. And the acting, obviously, it's a treat, dude. Like, um Julia Stiles nailed it. I knew she was a good actress. I've seen her in other movies and I've heard of her. But she, sometimes these actors have a huge reputation behind them of them being like amazing, and then they perform and you're like, well, I mean, that's normal. But what she did, especially in the last scene, when she reads the poem of 10 Things She Hates About Him, ooh, that was so, that really, like, somebody stabbed me with a knife deep into my heart. It was really good, really solid. Obviously, Heath Ledger, we know what he's capable of. So, still, I, with all these celebrities, all these actors, singers, and whatever, when they pass away so early, you kind of think, where could their careers have gone? Where could they have gone, as people, what change would they have made or continue making in this world. He's an amazing he was an amazing actor, and I mean he will forever be remembered as an amazing actor with these movies that he left us with, even silly ones like this one. But yeah, I don't think that there's much to comment on. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I've noticed that he tends to play the same character over and over. Like, if you watch this one, it's basically the same character as, I think, Buddy from That 70s Show. And I've seen other movies with him that are very similar. I guess that one movie where he's, what's it called? Where he and his other friend are sexually abused by their coach. I had that movie, but I threw it away because I thought that it was just too in your face about the whole sexual abuse, and it really, like, it didn't make me feel anything, or it didn't make me learn. But I shouldn't talk about that one because we're talking about this one, and that's a whole different topic. But yeah, and it's not, I don't mean it in a bad way. Like, I'm not dissing that he always plays the same character. It's just something that I noticed because he's amazing at what he does. I think he really is a good actor. But I would like to see other films where he does something different. I've seen him in that one movie with Zoe Deschanel, and it's also very similar to this one. But I've seen him in, I think, is it Don Juan? I don't know what it's called. I don't think it's that one. But yeah, I shouldn't probably get into that because that's a whole different genre. But yeah, this movie is pretty entertaining, and I would recommend it. Like I said, 8 out of 10 in its category. And that's it for this one. Thank you for watching.